Wolfgang. Haideți să vedem filmulețul inițial.
My question today, how can organizations empower people? Data is knowledge, knowledge is power, hence it's data that empowers people. The right data at the right time can make a big difference. Data drives operational performance and help companies to stay competitive. Data is the oil of the digital economy and well-run operations. Data and analytics help companies to align across marketing and sales, operations, distribution, finance, and research and development to create customer value. Data and analytics help companies to synchronize activities. Data and analytics help employees to do a great job. Organizations empower people in their own interest to grow their revenues and profits, in the interest of their customers to serve them better, in the interest of employees to help them to perform and grow. How does such an empowering organization looks like in practice? Imagine a trucking business that can anticipate where and when customers will ship their next loads. Imagine a company that always knows where their assets, containers, chassis and trucks are. Imagine dispatchers that know in advance which trucking jobs will be profitable and which ones won't, and where to find the backloads and the subsequent loads. Imagine drivers that always know which way to take and which routes to avoid and how to improve their driving style to reduce risk, fuel consumption, emissions, and maintenance costs. Imagine customer success staff having the same level of visibility as drivers and dispatchers have. Imagine a marketing department that always knows where to drive business and when. Imagine finance having all data about our activities and the ecosystem for their analysis, forecasting, and budgeting. An empowering organization is one where data is the language of collaboration and visibility its enabler. Visibility helps us to drive performance. Visibility helps us to answer the questions of our customers. Visibility helps us to align with people inside and outside the organization. How can we get there? Through a digital-first strategy that drives everything and puts our decisions and actions on the most rational grounds. Through platforms that cut through the entire organization. Through mandatory interface services that help us to standardize data formats. Through data models filled with internal data and external insights. Through algorithms developed internally or externally at the center of easy-to-use tools that help us to capture the benefits of our systems. Through support services that help us to navigate through a leadership that makes working with data and analytics fun. An organization that empowers people through data, analytics, and visibility is always on top of things and ahead of the curve, is agile to respond to shocks and changes almost instantly. It's a place of accountability, performance, and growth.
Hello, how are you?
Very well.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'm very impressed that you say yes to my invitation. And we think that your experience is very important for our conference. And I'm very happy to meet the next event that will not be online.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here. Welcome to everybody who joins the conference. And my talk about, my short, compact talk about the future of supply chains, which is, as you can imagine, a lot about digitization. And yeah, I would like now to share my screen. Hope that works. Doesn't really. How can I do that in the window? Microsoft PowerPoint. And share screen. Good. So, but that doesn't matter. So, this is to give you an overview of where I think the industry stands, the supply chain and logistics industry in this very important year, 2021, and I will come to that, and what is new in store. So, what are supply chains? I can't stress it more. Supply chains make business. Supply chains make the society. Supply chains are the economy because the economy delivers what the society needs. And this is exactly what supply chains are about. They are the sequence of events designed to repurpose. I have an echo here, and that's disturbing the broadcast, but thank you very much. I think it's better now. And what is also important to come to the current spirit of our times, supply chains have become or got into the spotlight of the COVID-19 debate, because we have seen what the measures to contain the virus did to our supply chain. But I can always reassure everybody that the supply chain network is very, very robust. So when I talk about the future is not only tomorrow and next week and next year. The future is also innovation. Our spaces is driven and thrives on new ideas and new products and new services. So I would like to give you an overview what happens in supply chain. So COVID-19 forced massive change upon us. I'm not so sure. I think everybody sees it, but I think we haven't internalized, taken that in, what really happened, that we are working from home, that we are working and living in a distant manner, that a lot of things have become virtual. We are virtually traveling. We are not traveling physically anymore. We use video conferencing. We use collaboration tools. And this not only in our office work, but to run, in fact, supply chain and logistics. And we are entering a new era of economic behavior, cyber shopping, cyber consumption, cyber economy, and cyber life that also comes with cyber risks, and we have to take that into account. But there is so much positive that should not hold us back. The current situation is viewed by many as a difficult one, as a challenging one, and that is also true. It's a human tragedy, and we can see that every day from the numbers. When we go into business, though, we can observe that moments of crisis are moments of creation. So when we experienced and faced the global financial crisis, 2009 and 10, we also could see the emergence of a lot of startups, and amongst them were WhatsApp, Venmo, Groupon, Instagram, Uber, Pinterest, Slack, Square, and I could mention a lot more. So what we see today as the new breed, the new type of business, has to a large extent been created in the last crisis. And with all the changes I mentioned before, we can expect a lot of innovation and changes also in the current situation. And it's not only about new ideas, it's also about ideas which are lingering around for some time, because crisis brings innovation to the mainstream. As an example, jet engines and antibiotics were invented in 1928, but it took the crisis of World War II for either to be deployed and scaled. So it's about adaptation of novelties, of innovation, what I'm talking about. And COVID-19 has delivered the future to us today. There are a lot of statements made by myself and others that we have seen more change in 5 months than in the last 5 years. And I think that's true, considering the constraints we had. The pandemic has forced the digitization of the economy and society upon us with immediate effect. And what does it mean, and how does this play out along the supply chain? And I would say the future of the supply chain is digital. And we see this in productization, planning, procurement, production, provision, point of sales, and preservation. So when we talk about digital products, what does that mean in supply chain? It is, first of all, about a foundational commodity, which is data. Data is the oil of the digital economy, and we talk increasingly about the need of real-time, complete, and clean data. That's what we need to operate the digital economy or the future supply chain. But with the data comes the need for analytics. And we don't analyze the data for a selfish reason. We analyze the data to make better decisions in the interest of our customers. And we have 4 types of analytics I would like to briefly mention here. There is descriptive analytics, what is, there is diagnostic analytics, why is it what we see, there's predictive analytics, what could be, and there's prescriptive analytic, what are the best options. And the prescriptive analytics brings us clearly to automation, which is the higher order value of digitization and visibility. It is not only about tracking a truck or pallet or package. It is about automating processes to have less accidents and casualties, less errors, frictions, and costs, and less excess resources and CO2. When we go into the planning, we see this playing out. We have real-time monitoring and planning systems as the ultimate tool for resilience and agility. We have the opportunity to benchmark different suppliers and partners to see how they comply with the service level agreements, how they perform, but not to blame them, but to help them to improve and to innovate. We can also benchmark and compare lanes and nodes like ports and hubs, etc., and all to reduce CO2 footprint. We can reduce waste, time, and cost. And then I'm coming to procurement. When it's about procurement, it's about digital platform. We are now in the platform economy. When we look at the highest, the top 10 most valued companies in the world, we find 7 that are driven by a platform business model. And I'm talking about the Googles, the Apples, the Amazons, etc., the Alibabas, the Tencents. These are now the top in our economic system. And these platforms help us to run tenders, to offer things, to run order management and payments. And of course, if everything is on the platform, we can implement and achieve 24/7 real-time supplier monitoring, again through data and data analytics. We can even have our control towers. We can monitor everything on our smartphones. So the world has not only become digital, it also has become mobile. And increasingly, this goes all beyond cost and errors. It also includes environmental aspects. And then comes production. And there is the big discussion about manufacturing and automation, about robotics, Factory 4.0. But now with COVID-19, we also need technology to redesign and re-engineer our manual process. We think the world of manufacturing is automated, but there are more than 300 million people today working in the factories, and we have to protect them. So we can use cameras, computer vision, to understand how can we organize our processes to make sure that everybody is safe. And then I talk about the provision. The provision is the transport. Here, data has played a role for a long time. Telematics in trucks is not a new thing, but now we see the need, we see that we can really extract value, that we know which trucks are better performing, which drivers are better either in the city or on the highway. So data which comes out of systems of record, which could be a transport management system, and supplemented by Internet of Things device data and asset data, can help us to understand what is really happening in that self-organizing network of networks, which we call the supply chain. We can then enrich it with certain functionalities, which means, for example, temperature, humidity control. We can ensure that farmer goods remain in their range. We can ensure that flowers and food and everything is handled well. And again, we can see it through the aggregation of data, the analytics of data, and we can see it on our screens, but also on our smartphones. We can then, in the transportation sector, optimize the utilization of modes. I speak about multimodal. We can optimize routing, speed, driving styles. We can reduce empty trucks, empty miles, and we can save time, avoid delays, traffic jams, errors, cost, and CO2. So a massive field of innovation is opening up in front of us. Then comes the point of sale. At the point of sale, we can draw information from the point of sale system, which give us data about the inventory movements, about the inventory at hand, about ways to reduce time, errors, and CO2. It can also help us to optimize our demand workflows and help us to avoid out of stock situations, so make sure that the goods are always there. We can move goods to where they sell. Some goods sell in one shop, but not in the others, so we can move it to the right place, and we know what the situation is, and we can optimize inventory level, which is of course all working capital that we free for other purposes. And again, what I said at the beginning, we can use all that to automate routine processes. For example, we can organize remote inventory management and create for workers a better working environment. And my last point on this journey across the entire supply chain, from design, I mentioned the events from design to repurposing. My last is about repurposing, is about preservation, is about good social conditions and good working conditions, and taking care of the environment and our health. What we see increasingly is that also the circular economy, that means the reduction of waste, and the building a system where the waste of one is the input for the other, gets traction because digitization is a prerequisite. We need data management. We need supplier product information. What is in the product? Otherwise, we cannot reuse it at the end of the use cycle and recycle it. We need internal process information for the same reason. We need customer usage information to determine the value at the end of the use cycle. And we need industrial symbiosis information about the system which can function in a way that the one uses the excess material of the other. And it's all about the circular system management through circular marketplaces, material passports and material pools, and product as a service to make sure that the material comes back. To close my talk, I would like to finish with the drivers of the change, the digital transformation push. And we have pressures from COVID-19, movement restrictions, for example. I don't want to go too much into detail, but we have seen that personnel couldn't move or goods couldn't move. Pressure from geopolitics. We have still trade tensions, and this is worth a talk in itself. We have pressures from regulators, environmental goals, SDGs. We have pressure from innovators, new entrants come into the market, and all that drives more connected devices, more data, more analytics and intelligence, and more innovative solutions. And what I believe is that COVID-19 might bring the next moonshot to the supply chain and logistics industry in the form of connected supply chains. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is true, and we can say this because we have almost 15,000 trucks, and you know that because we speak 1 week ago. Your speech is fantastic. Let's say, for me personally, is my idea about the transport, but I don't have your experience. And I think after COVID, the transport will boosting very, very much, and people will try to find other way for be connected faster and cheaper. And the time, maybe you want to stay more at home, and you don't need to stay at the office to, I don't know, find orders. Maybe you know that in Romania we still using fax for finding orders and for sending invoices. So the market is very old, and right now this is let's say our war. We want to compete with the classical platform, and it's very hard because they are on the market for many years, and for us it is hard to compete with them because they have a lot of money, a lot of users. But as you say, this is the future, and depends on the truckers and the companies when they want to change their direction. I don't know if you have any question. No, okay, we don't have any question. So Wolfgang, thank you very much for your pitch, for your time. I know that you are coming from Hong Kong. I don't know what is the hour there, but it's morning, right? Okay.
No, it's evening. It's 5:13 in the evening, and so it's pretty good time.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope to see you in Romania. It was nice for me to meet you on this. Even we meet from this conference because I invited you to be speaker on this conference, and we speak a lot about our business. So it's a good connection even for us and even from the digital. So thank you very much. Have a great evening and see you soon.
Yeah, Alexandro, thank you very much. Thanks to everybody for listening. And yeah, if you wish to learn more, connect with me through LinkedIn and look at my publications, and I'm always there to share. Thank you very much, and a good continuation of the conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.